recorded. I've just started the recording and Mark will start the live streaming for me. So this meeting is being live streamed and recorded for archive purposes. We would ask that please only use the chat function if you have any connection issues or if you can't use the raise your hand function, but you can also, if you're on screen, raise your hand on screen. We limit the use of the chat as all discussion should really be held in the meeting. Thank you very much. I'd like to hand over to the leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Welcome, members. Welcome to the Senior Management Appointment Committee, Tuesday, 12th of October, 2 o'clock. As Karen said, it's a remote meeting, so I'm looking for apologies for absence. I think we have one.
Chair, we have one member missing today, but I haven't had apologies, but I can put them in retrospective if I receive them in the next few days.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. Can I have next item is the minutes of the meeting of the 25th of June 2019? Quite a long time ago, but if anybody's prepared to move it, I will move it as a true record. Anybody's prepared to second, please?
Happy to second, leader.
Anybody got any comments or in relation to those minutes? No. Good, thank you very much. Also, next item is to receive declarations of interest under the Council's Code of Conduct, if anybody has any. I doubt whether anybody has, otherwise it probably wouldn't be here, but that's fine, thank you very much. The next item is, excuse me a second. I apologise. The troubles of working from home and people telephoning you with bogus calls. So I recognise the number. Okay, sorry. Right. The report of the Managing Director in relation to the recruitment and selection arrangement for the Head of Finance Section 151 officer. Rob, are you going to take this, or Karen going to take it? We have not had copies of the report itself. Obviously, we are to look at the recruitment selection arrangements for Head of Finance Section 151 officer. And there are some recommendations within the report. I note that under 2.3, it said the final version of the job description and person spec can be circulated in advance. I was going to say that it will be, but actually it already has been. I think all members have had copies of it now. And indeed, I think it would be on the web to people to see. So do you want to take us to this, Rob?
Yeah, happy to, leader. So you members have the report before you. And as you say, it's for the recruitment and selection arrangements for the Head of Finance / Section 151 officer. It sets out the arrangements for the position, and there are certain recommendations before you, which I will return to in a moment. So as you know, well, as I suspect most of you know, the current post holder is leaving the authority in the first week of December of this year. So we need to put in place a recruitment exercise to identify a replacement for that position. It is an important position, it's a statutory position. So it's we need to commence recruitment as soon as possible. We've reviewed the current job description and the person specification, and that's partly because it was drafted previously back in 2015. So 6 years has elapsed since that time, and there's been a lot of changes, both within the organisation in terms of the strategic direction of the organisation, but also in terms of local government generally in Wales. Paragraph 2.2 identifies some of those significant changes. So we've now got a shared audit service, which has grown and developed over the last few years as well. So management of the shared audit service is going to be a key element of the post. And as well, it includes the role of the senior information risk owner, which is an important element as well as being the designated 151 officer. So as the lead has already pointed out, the final version of the JD and person spec has already been circulated, and that is attached to the report as seen on the website, but is also sent out separately to members this morning. And in terms of taking this forward, what we would ask is that committee delegate responsibility to the head of human resources and organisational development in consultation with myself and the leader to advertise the post, to carry out long listing for any assessment process, and to take the long listed candidates through that assessment process, and then shortlist and then have a final interview with this committee in due course. So if members are happy with that, that is what's set out in the recommendations, in particular recommendation 2, which also includes a final point of agreeing the costings and resource requirements relating to all those processes. That as well would be delegated to the head of human resources and organisational development in consultation with myself and the leader. So happy to take any questions or any issues arising from that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. I know this is slightly awkward, or different, not awkward, different, because we have to get this in place fairly quickly. So this is somewhat out of the ordinary in some respects, but it does seem to me to be a sensible way forward. Everybody's had a copy of the job description and person spec. I don't have a chance to look at it. Is there any comments from anybody in relation to that or the recommendations? Can I hear from anybody, please? Sally.
Can I just ask, before we go much further, the role of senior information risk owner, can you just explain that slightly to me? Because I don't think I've come across that before. It might just be what it says.
It's in essence, it's looking at the risks to the organisation of things like data breaches. So if there are any issues, the council, as you can imagine, deals with a lot of data, a lot of personal data. And the senior information risk owner basically has to take responsibility for assessing the risk to the organisation when it handles people's data, and if there are any breaches. So it's something that has sat with the head of finance for the last 6 years. A lot of that risk is around our ICT systems, for example, but also a lot of the data that we hold in terms of the day-to-day processes that we follow around things like council tax, revenues and benefits and the like. So it seems like a logical post to be that responsible owner.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sally. Is there anybody else who has any queries in relation to this? Otherwise, I would need a seconder if we're going to go forward.
I'd be happy to second, Leader.
Thank you very much. So if no one has any comments, then if we agree that, then that's the way to be able to move forward, and we'll wait to see who applies, go through the process, and then come back to this committee for appointment. Yes?
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Good. In that case, I will conclude the meeting. I don't have any other items which are urgent. I don't have any other items at all. So can I thank you under part 1, or indeed under part 2 in this case? But clearly, if we do carry out interviews, they would be under a part 2 agenda item. So can I thank you for your forbearance, and thank you for your time, and thank Rob and Karen for setting this up.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hi, Neil, can I just ask, are you hoping to do these interviews, all of it online, or might some of it be in person? Or has no decision been made?
No decision has yet been made, but it's more than likely going to be online, I would have thought.
Okay.
But we can think about that near the day if you want.
Yeah, no props.
Because if it's only sort of the us members, there's not many, so we can easily socially distance, and maybe it might be better to see somebody in person to see how they to how they react, etc. So I will consider that. Rob, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to echo the last comment that you made, actually, Leader, because for a role like this, I'd be pretty keen if we could do it in person.
Yeah.
Having regard to the fact that there may be different circumstances by the time we get to final interview. We don't know what the next few months hold in store for us all, but all being well and the direction of travel continuing in the same vein as it is currently, I'd very much wish to do at least an element of the selection in person anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I think, one of the things is the assessment centre and things, so that's clearly might have to be in person anyway, but we can cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's get the adverts out, let's get things in, and then we can arrange for all the other process. But yeah, if we can do a senior management appointments committee in person, we will do it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Lovely. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye all.
Mark, you can stop the recording now for the live stream. Thanks.
Thank you.